Mr. Chancellor, sir, it is my honor and privilege to invite the Mount Kenya University Brass Band to play the national anthem, the East African anthem, and the Mount Kenya University anthem. Mr. Chancellor, sir, with your permission, I now invite the University Chaplain, Reverend Father Raphael Wanjau, and the University Imam, Dr. Hamisi Wainaina, to commit the congregation to God in prayer.
We commence our graduation in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Today we are gathered here for the University 17th graduation ceremony. We thank you, Almighty Father, for the gift of Mount Kenya University. We thank you, Almighty God, for the board of directors, the administration, the faculty who have mentored and taught these graduates during their education. We thank you, Almighty Father, for their families and friends who have sacrificed a lot in support of these graduates to finish their education. Today we pray for those who have faced the challenges and kept the faith to commitment of their studies. Thank you, God, for the success of the education journey. We thank you for granting them focus, direction, strength, and endurance. Today, we also pray for tomorrow. This graduation opens another door to another time. Almighty Father, grant these your sons and daughters opportunity to unlock infinite potentialities in their life and enable them to enjoy the fruits of their labor. May the graduates be inspired to become innovators and job creators for many future graduates. God bless the graduates. God bless their families and friends. God bless the board of directors of Mount Kenya University. God bless the staff of Mount Kenya University. God bless our beloved country, Kenya. We pray and trust in your help. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalam ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad kama sallaita ala Sayyidina Ibrahim wa ala ali Sayyidina Ibrahim. وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent and the most merciful, praise and glory to Allah, full of grace and mercy. May the peace of Allah be on His messenger, His family, and His companions. Almighty Allah, we pray and we thank you for enabling us to gather for this 17th graduation of Mount Kenya University. Allah, we pray for our graduates as they embrace their awards in their different disciplines. Give them success as they get into their new opportunities. Give them wisdom, honor, and patience as they embark into various work points. Bless them in this day as they celebrate with for their great contribution to this achievement. We thank you, Allah, for Mount Kenya University, the entire leadership, and the staffs and the students. We also pray for peace and calmness in our nation. We thank you once again, Allah. Thee do we worship, and thy aid do we seek. Show us the straight way, the way of those on whom thou hast bestowed thy grace, those whose portion is not wrath, and who go no astray. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
Mr. Chancellor, sir, it is my humble honor to invite the acting Vice Chancellor, Mount Kenya University, Professor Peter Wanderi, to declare the Assembly a congregation of the 17th graduation ceremony of Mount Kenya University.
In accordance with the provisions of the Mount Kenya University Charter 2011, Section 6, subsections B and C, and as per the powers bestowed upon me by the University Senate, I hereby declare the congregation of the 17th graduation ceremony of Mount Kenya University constituted.
You may take your seats. Mr. Chancellor, sir, allow me to welcome all graduates, parents and friends, well-wishers, watching us live on Citizen TV and TV 47 to the 17th graduation ceremony. In particular, we pay attention to those watching us in our Kigali campus, Rwanda, Burundi, Uganda, and Somalia. Feel at home and part of this graduation ceremony. Mr. Chancellor, sir, it has become a routine for Mount Kenya University to reward the most active graduates on our social media. And so we are announcing that we have a gift. We have a gift of a 5-kilogram cake for any graduates who will be the most active on our social media, which we will announce at the end of the graduation to celebrate with the family. And the hashtag is MKU 17th graduation. You can tag us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram on Mount Kenya UNAME. I'd also like to remind the graduates that the deadline for returning your gowns is on 20th December 2019. From the examination office, any day after 20th December will incur a 500 shillings penalty until you return the gown. You're all most welcome to celebrate with us, to celebrate with our grandchildren. This is the day the Lord has made for us to rejoice and be glad in it, as we participate in the theme of private-public partnership for the access to quality education in Kenya. And now I want to usher in our entertainers. MC Jesse, what do you have for us?
Thank you so much. I want you to turn to your neighbor and say high five to him and tell him or her, welcome to Mount Kenya University. Turn to 2, 3 neighbors, tell them, welcome to Mount Kenya University. In Mount Kenya University, Mr. Chancellor, sir, we celebrate our cultures, we celebrate where we come from, we celebrate our graduates, and we ensure that whatever we do it to the apex. Welcoming on stage our dancers, the first group, from one of the communities in Kenya, which is one of the best communities in terms of cultural practices that have been modernized, the Pokot dancers, performing a piece with a theme, Good Harvest. Indeed, MKU, we have a good harvest. Over to you, Pokot dancers.
Oh, yalaleo. Yeah, oh, yalaleo. Yo, yalaleo.
Yeah, oh, yalaleo.
Yo, yalaleo.
Yeah, oh, yalaleo.
Yo, yalaleo.
Yeah, oh, yalaleo.
Yo, yalaleo.
Yeah, oh, yalaleo.
Yo, yalaleo.
Yeah, oh, yalaleo.
Yo, yalaleo.
Yeah, oh, yalaleo.
Kiwu tikagwamara.
Yeah, oh, yalaleo.
Yo, yalaleo.
Yeah, oh, yalaleo.
Yo, yalaleo.
Yeah, oh,
yalaleo. Jamoyo.
Yeah, oh, jamoyo.
Yo, morbi nyikatina kukumura. Oh, jamoyo.
Yeah, oh, jamoyo.
Yo, morbi nyikatina kukumura. Oh, yo nyagut.
Yeah, oh, jamunungo.
Yo, morbi nyikatina kukumura. Oh, babo nyagut.
Yeah, oh,
Pierin. Yo, morbi nyikatina kukumura. Oh, jamoyo.
Yeah, oh, jamoyo.
Yo, morbi nyikatina kukumura. Oh, jamoyo.
Yeah, oh,
jamoyo. Yo, morbi nyikatina kukumura. Aloru moye.
Yeah.
Oh, aloru moye. Agebune loru mo koronu.
Agebune loru mo
koronu. Agebune loru mo koronu. Agebune sandan. Oh, aloru moye.
Yeah.
Oh, aloru moye. Agebune loru mo koronu.
Agebune loru mo
koronu. Agebune loru mo koronu. Agebune sandan. Oh, aloru moye.
Yeah.
Oh, aloru moye. Agebune loru mo koronu.
Agebune loru mo koronu.
Agebune loru mo koronu. Agebune sandan. Ajorino.
Ajoringalage, jorino.
Ajorino.
Ajoringalage. Idorine duguala. Ajorine.
Awel awel. Ajori. Ajorine.
Awel awel.
Ajori. Ajorine.
Awel awel.
Ajori. Ajorino.
Ajoringalage, jorino.
Ajorino.
Ajoringalage, jorino. Idorine duguala.
Ajorino.
Ajorine.
Awel awel. Ajori. Ajorine.
Awel awel.
Ajori. Ajorine.
Awel awel.
Ajori. Awe wakelena. Ngaloji ni goraji. Ngaloji ni bikaji. Ngaloji ni loro. Awe wakelena. Ngaloji ni goraji. Ngaloji ni bikaji. Ngaloji ni loro. Awe wakelena. Ngaloji ni goraji. Ngaloji ni loro. Awe wakelena. Ala jamuda.
Jamuda silanga tibi kokore.
Ala jamuda.
Jamuda silanga tibi kokore.
Ala jamuda.
Jamuda silanga tibi kokore.
Ala gamajaro. Ewaye. Ala gamajaro.
Ewaye ilale.
Ala gamajaro.
Ewaye ilale.
Thank you, Pokot. Thank you, Pokot. Let's appreciate them in a hearty clap. Thank you so much. Thank you, Pokot dancers, for presenting a good song and a good dance with a thematic message of celebration. Next on stage, Mr. Chancellor Sam, in our cultural diversity and also in ensuring that the energy of the young ones who are studying with us is well maintained and put into use. The next group on stage is YCS Liturgical Dance, presenting a number. Over to you, YCS Liturgical Dancers. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's appreciate the YCS liturgical dancers. Let's appreciate them with a hearty clap kindly. Thank you so much. That is the energy, Mr. Chancellor, sir, that our student exhibit and showcase. Thank you so much. I want to take this opportunity, with your permission, Mr. Chancellor, sir, to recognize part and parcel of our visitors. And I want to start with the Vice Chancellor, Kenyatta University, Professor Paul Wainaina. Welcome on board. Let's appreciate him. We also want to appreciate the presence of Vice Chancellor, Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, Professor Victoria Wamboi. Let's appreciate her also. Thank you so much. We also want to appreciate Dr. Winfred Kidhinji from Kenya Methodist University. We also want to appreciate a team, a strong team from Stag African. Let's appreciate them, all of them together, without forgetting appreciating Mr. Eliud Maina from Telcom, as well as the Director of Rural Electrification and Renewable Energy Corporation, Alex Chesosi. Let's appreciate all of them once again.
Mr. Chancellor, sir, allow me to invite the 17th graduation ceremony, Mount Kenya University alumni representative, Ms. Helen Njeri, to make her remarks. Ms. Helen Njeri graduated from Mount Kenya University with a Bachelor of Science in Nursing. She has climbed through her ladder, through her career from a bedside nurse to a Kiambu Level 5 nurse manager. She is one of the founders and patron of Kiambu Cancer Care that is supporting several cancer patients. Welcome.
All protocols observed. Mr. Chancellor, sir, allow me to thank each and every member of the MKU family and all the associates present for making this 17th graduation ceremony a success. Indeed, this occasion affirms the value of MKU family that have been set since inception. I graduated here on this ground in the 8th graduation ceremony in 2015, and I can assure all the stakeholders that the knowledge, skills, attitudes I gained in MKU as a student have proved very successful and useful in my current position as the nurse service manager in Kiambu Level 5 Hospital. As an MKU alumni, we thank the management for the bold strategic growth in various areas, both academic and physical resources. This includes the expansion and the persistence of the continuous improvement on quality teaching, learning, and evaluation processes. This is well demonstrated by the digitalization of the various academic components. We are grateful for the strategic partnership of the recent signed MOU for the internship by the United Nations Frontiers. This is a clear indication that the university is supporting its graduates' entry into the job market. To the graduates, start by giving to the community, as I did. This way, you will gain the experience at the level. You will gain the desired jobs. You elevate even the job that you want to be. Do something to put yourself to the next opportunity. Advancing the studies is also it is also strategic for you competing for more challenges and positions. As a graduate, kindly remain connected with the university through our vibrant alumni association social media page indicated on the page 104 of the graduate booklet. We have access to the Directorate of Career and Alumni Services, which we can contact anytime for the information and support. Our appreciation goes to the parents, the guardians, and the staffs, sponsors, who in one way or another contributed to your mental, psychological, and financial support. We celebrate you today as graduates. We ask that you remain our good ambassadors. Lastly, and not least, we thank the top management for the good management practices that have enabled the sustainable growth of MKU. As an alumni, we are proud of this university. May God bless us all. May God bless Mount Kenya University, and may God bless our country, Kenya. I wish all a Merry Christmas and a prosperous Happy New Year 2020. Amen.
Thank you so much. Let's appreciate her. Let's appreciate her. Thank you so much for the kind words. And you can be sure our graduates are top-notch. In a survey that we are going to conduct today, you can be sure everywhere it is going to be Mount Kenya University graduates. I also want to recognize, with your permission, sir, the presence of the High Commission to Pakistan, Ambassador Ms. Shida. Welcome on board. We also want to recognize the presence of Victor and Victoria Vass, all the way from the US. Welcome on board. We also want to recognize the presence of members of parliament from Kuria West, Mathias Robi, member of parliament from Manyata, Mr. John or Honorable John Mushiri Nyaga, and also member of parliament from Tigania West, David Kareithi. And Mr. Chancellor, sir, these three are our graduates. Thank you.
Mr. Chancellor, sir, allow me to invite the Acting Vice Chancellor, Mount Kenya University, Professor Peter Wanderi, to address the congregation and in turn invite the Chairman, University Council.
Our Chancellor, Professor John Strathers, Professor George Magoha, who is our chief guest, and the Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Education, Professor Simon Gisharu, founder of Mount Kenya University and Chairman, Board of Directors, members of the University Board of Directors, Professor David Serem, Chairman, University Council, members of the University Council, honorable members of Parliament present, Your Excellencies, the ambassadors and high commissioners, honorable national and county government leaders, distinguished guests, members of management, board and senate, members of staff, parents and guardians, graduates and students, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all with great pleasure to Mount Kenya University 17th graduation ceremony. Our distinguished guests, kindly receive our heartfelt appreciation for accepting our invitation. To our graduates, For your hard work and success, you deserve a hearty word of congratulation. So, congratulations. Mr. Chancellor, sir, today we celebrate the academic achievements of 5,169 graduates, and the graduates have fulfilled all the academic program's requirements for conferment of various degrees and award of various diplomas and certificates of Mount Kenya University as follows. 1, 10 Doctor of Philosophy degrees. 2, 119 master's degrees. 3, 117 postgraduate degrees. 4, 3,844 bachelor degrees. 5, 870 diplomas, and 6, 209 certificates. New and amended curricula. Mr. Chancellor, sir, ladies and gentlemen, universities are mandated to spur innovation and maintain sustained progress in order to sharpen minds in support of the generation of new knowledge that is necessary for socioeconomic development. In this regard, Mount Kenya University is committed to periodic review of its academic curricula, to align them to the emerging socio-economic development needs. Mr. Chancellor, sir, the following curricula have been amended to align them to the changing needs of our society. 1, Master of Arts in Security Studies and Criminology, that is International Peace and Resolution option. 2, Bachelor of Education Arts. 3, Bachelor of Education Arts. 3, Bachelor of Education Science. 4, Bachelor of Real Estate Management. And 5, Certificate in Travel and Tourism Operation. New examination booklets. Mr. Chancellor, sir, Mount Kenya University has continued to uphold academic ethics and integrity in her academic programs and examinations, as attested to by subjecting students' projects and theses to anti-plagiarism software. This has greatly encouraged quality scholarly output. Mount Kenya University has moved on to safeguard authenticity and integrity of all academic output by revising the examination booklets. The university has already started using new examination booklets that have increased security features, and thus making it difficult to counterfeit, and also making it easier for recording purposes. Government-sponsored students' progression. Mr. Chancellor, sir, Mount Kenya University started admitting government-sponsored students in the year 2016, when a total of 1,127 students were admitted to pursue different courses offered at the university. To date, Mount Kenya University has cumulatively admitted a total of 9,004 government-sponsored students. True to her motto of unlocking infinite possibilities, Mount Kenya University is today graduating her first cohort of the government-sponsored students who were admitted in the year 2016. They have been empowered to serve as market leaders in their respective fields. Off-campus student accommodation at the university. Mr. Chancellor, sir, in order to provide quality education at a university, the students' accommodation is usually a significant factor for consideration, which ought to be safe and affordable. In this regard, the university has noted the varied range of off-campus student facilities availed by private investors, With a view to standardization of these investments and in line with the government Big Four agenda, some legislation through relevant government agencies that will emphasize on both security and safety factors may be a vital consideration. Establishment of Mount Kenya Endowment Fund. Ladies and gentlemen, Mount Kenya University Foundation has established an endowment fund that is intended to support needy students. The fund has a target of raising 10 million Kenyan shillings in 2 years. We invite our partners and alumni to contribute to this fund. Mr. Chancellor, allow me to give a few points with a lot of humility of appreciation to the following persons and as follows, and not in any special order. First is to the Board of Directors for giving me an opportunity to serve as the university's acting Vice Chancellor. I promise to do my best and offer my service in total dedication. Two, to the founding Vice Chancellor, Professor Stanley Waudo. Mr. Chancellor, sir, the founding Vice Chancellor, Professor Stanley Waudo, has done a great job in setting the tempo at MKU during the time he served this university. He established firm structures and processes that will be followed in the future. At a personal level, he mentored me since year 2002, that is 17 years. And I promise him as my mentor, I will not let him down. To all our strategic development partners and various stakeholders, including students, the parents and guardians, members of staff, and all other partners, as well as our distinguished guests who are here, and many other partners who are not here, we appreciate you all. I also appreciate the Vice Chancellors and representatives of other universities who are here with us this morning. To the government of Kenya, we appreciate the creation of a conducive environment that enhances access and delivery of quality higher education in this country. Last and not least, to God the Almighty for his continued guidance to all of us. In conclusion, Mr. Chancellor, sir, I once more congratulate all graduates on qualifying for the conferment of various degrees and award of various diplomas and certificates. To the graduates, as you leave Mount Kenya University, remember that you remain beacons of hope for your communities and the country. We are confident that we have empowered you to liberate not only yourselves from current and emerging challenges, but also for you to liberate the society and prosper it. Fear no evil. This is to our graduates. Fear no evil, and of course, fear corruption, which is the oil of get rich quickly that bedevils humanity. Trust in your ability to create just wealth and guide the world in the path of honoring God, our Creator. Thank you. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you all. Mr. Chancellor, sir, it is now my humble privilege to invite the chairman of Mount Kenya University Council, Professor David Serem, to address the congregation and invite the chairman, board of directors, Professor Simon Gisharo.
Professor John Struthers, Chancellor of Mount Kenya University, our chief guest, Professor George A.O. Magoha, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Education, Professor Simon Gisharu, founder of Mount Kenya University and Chairman of Board of Directors, Madam Jane Newto, co-founder of Mount Kenya University, members of the Board of Directors, members of the University Council, Professor Stanley Waudo, founder, Vice Chancellor of Mount Kenya University, the Vice Chancellors of other universities who are present here, Professor Mwangi Peter Wanderi, the Acting Vice Chancellor of Mount Kenya University, Your Excellencies, Ambassadors, and High Commissioners present here today, Honorable national and county government leaders who are present, distinguished guests, members of the Management Board and Senate, staff, parents, guardians, graduates, and ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted on behalf of Mount Kenya University Council to welcome you all to the 17th graduation ceremony. Mr. Chancellor, sir, allow me to appreciate the chief guest, Professor George Magoha, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Education, and all our distinguished guests for honoring our invitation. We know that our CS is a very busy person, and I am so delighted to have him here today because I know that there were other places he should have gone, but he chose to come to Mount Kenya University, and we really appreciate you, sir, for honoring our invitation. I wish to congratulate all graduates and wish them success in all their endeavors in future. I know very well that Mount Kenya University has prepared you well, and I know you are ready to serve the nation in many other capacities. Mr. Chancellor, sir, allow me on behalf of the University Council and the entire university to congratulate the Board of Directors for smooth executive leadership transition. The founding Vice Chancellor, Professor Stanley Waudo, will be transitioning out of Mount Kenya University at the end of April 2020, upon completion of his tenure of service. He served for 10 years, and due to his dedicated service, he was considered for extension of his term by 1 year. He has successfully steered the institution into a fully fledged chartered university, which has adopted international best practices. Congratulations, Professor Waudo. The University Council wishes you a successful future in your aspirations. The Council will support the Acting Vice Chancellor, Professor Peter Wanderi. Mr. Chancellor, sir, the University Council has continued with its mandate of ensuring the university achieves her vision through policies, regulations, and guidelines. The University Council has approved the following rebranding of research and postgraduate training. The University Council has approved rebranding of the postgraduate training and research by establishing the College of Graduate Studies and Research to enhance synergy. The college will have two key interrelated functions, namely graduate studies and research services. The Directorate of Graduate Studies shall be responsible for providing the requisite environment for research, coordination and facilitation of graduate training activities in the university. The Directorate of Research and Innovation shall be responsible for coordination of research and innovation. This will ensure that graduate studies are linked to the university research for its effective dissemination of knowledge. The Council will support the implementation of the 5-year strategic plan for the College of Graduate Studies and Research. guidelines and inspection of accommodation and catering facilities. The university, in compliance with the regulatory requirements, approved guidelines on inspection of accommodation and catering facilities for health, safety, and sanitation. Institution hygiene and sanitation are important because of the need for healthy environment to support student welfare services. Structuring of campuses and open distance and electronic centers. Mr. Chancellor, sir, pursuant to Mount Kenya University Sustainability of Academic Program Policy, the Council approved the restructuring of campuses and ODEL centers. This is in line with the university's strategic focus on the establishment of centers of excellence. Changes in timetabling teaching practice calendar. The Council also approved changes in teaching practice calendar and a subsequent amendment in the teaching practice policy. Thus, the School of Education has abolished term 3, September-December teaching practice session. Operationalization of Injuries Benefits Act, WIBA, and Group Personal Accidents, which is GPA scheme. Mr. Chancellor, sir, the University Council also approved the scheme to cover Mount Kenya University's employees against accidental body injuries, disablement, or death in the course of their work to be effective from 1st January 2020, in compliance with the Work Injuries Benefits Act of 2007. Internal and external scholarships. Mr. Chancellor, sir, the Council also approved $5 million, which is equivalent to $50 million US, internal scholarship fund benefiting 81 applicants for September-December 2019 semester. In addition, DAD, in-country or stroke regional, called for institutional application for scholarship for postgraduate studies in Masters of Science in Nursing and Master of Public Health, awarded 12 full scholarships. We continue to welcome other stakeholders to come on board and support our needy students. Mr. Chancellor, sir, in conclusion, I wish to affirm that the University Council will continue to support efficient and effective university operations by ensuring that requisite policies and guidelines are put in place at all times. I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a very happy New Year of prosperity in 2020. Thank you very much, and may God bless you. It is now my humble privilege to invite the Chairman of Board of Directors, Professor Simon Gisharu, to make his remarks and invite our chief guest, Professor George Magoha, to address the congregation. Welcome.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Chairman. Don't worry, the height has got its own challenges. Professor John Stratas, the Chancellor of Mount Kenya University, Professor George, the Chief Guest and Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Education, Chairman of the University Council, members of the University Council, the University Management led by the Acting Vice Chancellor, Professor Peter Wanderi, members of the University Senate, members of the teaching, administrative, and support staff, distinguished invited guests, parents and guardians, graduates and students, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me first is to bring greetings from my dear wife, Jane Nyoto, and I am missing the kiss that I normally give her when I'm giving her introduction when she is allowed. I will not do it in the air because he is not here, but I would have done it in case he is allowed. But I know she is watching wherever she is because he went to represent me in New York in a function that I had been invited by a certain network called Terrorist Network in United States of America. I take this opportunity on my own behalf and that of the Board of Directors to congratulate the December 2019 graduating class for the success that we are all celebrating here today. I also take this opportunity to thank our chief guest, Professor Magoha, for honoring our invitation. Thank you and welcome to Mount Kenya University. To the graduates, I'm reminded of the recent sub-2-hour marathon challenge that was conquered by Eliud Kipchoge in Vienna, Austria. After achieving this feat, Kipchoge said he knew within the first kilometer he would achieve his goal. Mr. Kipchoge, who is the world record holder in marathon and four-time London marathon winner, had trained for his pursuit for 4 months. He was therefore confident that he would break barriers and so that no human is limited. As you go through this transition, I challenge you to believe in your abilities to continue pushing yourselves beyond your current limits to compete, not against others, but against your fears. Develop a culture of continuous improvement in all aspects of life. To parents and guardians, we celebrate this success because of your sacrifice and faith in the graduates seated here today. Graduates, let's learn to thank those people who have contributed to our success. In the previous graduation ceremonies, when my dear mom was alive, I used every time, every opportunity I get to thank her for supporting me, giving me life, education, and supporting me kindly to be who I am today. When you go back, remember to tell your parents and guardians, thank you for being there with you. I want to reiterate our commitment as a university that as we move forward, we will continue not expanding the campuses the way we were doing before, but establishing centers of excellence. And in this, we have identified four campuses that we are building to be centers of excellence, and we are going to support them financially in order to continue doing what they ought to be doing. We will still continue investing in strategic value-adding partnerships, and in this regard, I want to recognize our partnership first with the Star African Group that is led here today by Mr. John Schooling. And if you allowed me, because I feel that this is important, I will invite in front John Schooling to come and tell the congregation what is it Mount Kenya University is doing with Star African Group. John Schooling, welcome.
Salutations and greetings to everyone. Members of the Board of Directors, Mr. Chancellor, Chief Guest, members of the University Council, members of the university management, graduates, all guests, ladies and gentlemen, this is indeed a wonderful honor to stand before you all and to celebrate with every one of you for succeeding at what is an incredibly important journey. Stag African, and I represent that company, is based in South Africa and in the beautiful city of Cape Town, and I invite all the graduates to please come and visit us at any time in the future. We have entered into a joint venture agreement to build 3,000 student beds on this campus, plus a student center, and we will be commencing in 2020 with the project. This has been an incredibly exciting journey that we've entered into. It's the first time that this is ever going to happen in Africa. So it is a wonderful honor for us to be entering into this joint venture. We sincerely hope and trust that it's going to be a great success, but much more importantly, we hope and we trust that it's going to contribute to the ongoing success of this wonderful institution called Mount Kenya University. By the way, the name Mount Kenya is an incredibly interesting name. You may not know this, but Mount Kenya was once the highest mountain on the planet, far higher than the Mount Everest and the Himalayas. It is very symbiotic of what you are undertaking your future. It is an incredible mountain, and I have had the honor of climbing it. It is a wondrous experience, and I invite everyone to do that, encourage you to do that. But most importantly, and most important of all, to all the graduates sitting before me, with your entire futures ahead, I want to welcome you to a small and special club, the Club of Graduates. And I'd like you to listen very carefully to what I want to say now. You are a member of a club of only 5% of the African continent. Look to your friend to your left, look to your friend to your right, and just think about that. You are one of 5% of the African continent. Congratulations on your wonderful achievement. You are going to go forward, and you are going to be the leaders in your country and this continent. You will be the leaders in education, in health, in politics, and in business. With this great honor comes a wonderful, wonderful opportunity and responsibility. And I'd like you to extend what you have achieved to at least one other Kenyan, so that within our lifetime, this club of ours of 5% extends to a club of 10%, so that we, the African continent, and the people of the African continent can continue to contribute to the world, and we will invite the world to look upon us as a successful continent. We are a successful continent, and you represent that success. Congratulations to you all. Thank you.
As I finish with the partnerships, allow me to invite the president and co-founder, Victoria Vaz, who is the president of Lodestar Incorporation, to come and tell us the initiative that her corporation and Mount Kenya University want to initiate in the nearest future. Victoria.
Welcome to everyone.
Good day, beautiful people. Let me congratulate you by being at this day and graduating from university. And let me introduce us as a development company in Kenya today that we came from United States, state of Illinois, Chicago, to give you one of the biggest opportunities today for you people, for graduates, to employ you and show you that you've been studying at one of the wonderful places. And let me introduce our company, that we are a development company that is following the federal regulations for the trucking business. And we are here to bring the brighter future, give you opportunities to work with us in the future. Thank you very much for the university giving us a chance to employ you and see you in a brighter future tomorrow. We are here since yesterday to cooperate with you, students, and teach you, open in new workplaces, employ you, and partnership for years from now. I wish you best of luck, and we wish best of luck to us as well, and hope that we will find a way to work together, and students just work hard, and we will see you soon at the Mount Kenya University office for the future opportunities. Thank you very much.
God bless you.
At this juncture, I want to again recognize Professor Stanley Waudo and Mrs. Waudo, who are with us here today. And I want to say from my heart that it is through the leadership of Professor Waudo that you are graduating here today. So Professor Waudo and Mrs. Waudo, where are you? Come in front. I know working at Mount Kenya University has not been very easy for the last 11 years that Professor Stanley has worked with us. And it is always said, behind a successful man, there is a woman behind. So I know I will not ask Professor Waudo to do what I normally do because at least we are a bit younger, but I will ask Professor Waudo to hug Mrs. Waudo, Mrs. Waudo, and tell her, thank you for supporting me for the last 11 years. Thank you, Stanley, for being with us for the last 11 years. The guest of honor admitted that Professor Waudo broke his record when he was the Vice Chancellor of University of Nairobi. I want again to thank the government of Kenya for creating a level playing ground between public and private universities, the reason why we have continued to invest in this great institution. I want also to appreciate our local leaders who have also supported the university in terms of doing what it is doing. As you must have seen, today's theme is public-private partnership, and in this I want to recognize the first governor of Kiambu County, Honorable William Kabogo, who commissioned the anatomy lab in Thika Level 5 Hospital that made us start training medical doctors. I also want to appreciate the governor, the current governor of Kiambu County, Ferdinand Waititu, for opening the Makongeni route, because before, when we used to have graduation ceremonies, it used to be very chaotic. But through his efforts, he was able to open that road. And I want to say sometimes there are some few bad things that happen to an individual, and there are also good things. We should sometimes also to forget some of the challenges we face and then look at the positive part of it. When we are seated here today, this reminds me sometimes back in 1987 when we were double intake at Kenyatta University. And when we used to go to lecture rooms, the lecture rooms used to be flooded with students. And I remember some people who are ahead of us said that we will not become anything because we are congested. But I want to say, to tell graduates that some of us, when we were in the university, and all of what we wanted to do is to be given a space to learn and exploit our potential, and we did not give up because we were discouraged by others. I want to tell you, wherever you are, you meet so many people who will discourage you, in terms of whatever you will be doing. Even as we sit here today, there are people who are scheming somewhere on how to discourage us in whatever we are doing. But look, become focused. If we were not focused, MKU would not have been there. We would not have provided you with the chance that we have provided to you today. About MKU, it's not about financial resources that some people might think comes to us. Our happiness, myself and my co-founder, Jenny Newton, is when we see our students graduate. And we want to wish you the very best, and we want to always request you, don't accept to die with your potential. The potential that you have, it doesn't matter the school, it doesn't matter the background that you came from. What matters is you are believing in yourself so that you can be able to become what you want to become. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say we will still continue being committed in ensuring that our students get the best, and in this regard, as you are aware, the university signed a partnership with the United Nations Volunteer, and the board of directors has already put in Kenya shillings 4 million to enable 5 of our students to undertake the volunteer program for 6 months in 2020 in order to become the best they can be able to be. And in this regard, ladies and gentlemen, I want also to thank our researchers in this university, because from the information I was given by one of the researchers that they competed in the region, and they are almost winning a grant of Kenya shillings 460 million that will go towards research. And I want to thank them in advance, and we want to see to it that that is done. In conclusion, we have made significant strides this year in development of infrastructure for training and research. Of course, we are a part of the bigger university, higher education in this country. Of course, there has been some challenges. I am not the best person to talk about it because today we have none other than Cabinet Secretary to really talk about it. But I want to say, as Mount Kenya University, we have remained focused, and we will still continue remaining focused so that we continue delivering our mandate as we have purposed. Finally, I honor our partners through a quote by Isaac Newton when he stated, "If I have seen a little further, it is by studying on the shoulders of the giants." We consider our partners are an integral part of our success. I want to stop at that and take this opportunity to wish you Merry Christmas and prosperous New Year. May you be blessed so that what you aspired to become can be realized. Ladies and gentlemen, now it's my singular honor to invite our chief guest, Professor George Magoha. I don't need to introduce George because he is known by many people. He shoots, he talks his mind. I'm not going to go and give his credentials, but I just want to say his personality, that when a friend of mine, and I have just read a message from a friend of mine, he is telling me, you are sitting with the person that we normally see, breathing and talking his mind. Is he disturbing you? And I said, you can see we are calm, and I just want to say, Professor Magoha, because at one time somebody was asking me, suppose he comes and makes a declaration in your presence that he has closed one of your campuses, and on the spot. Then I told him that it is not possible because all our campuses are accredited and licensed by the government in where he is working. So he can't be able to do that. So, so George, I'm humbled to take this opportunity to invite you to address this congregation.
God is good, and all the time. Mr. Chancellor, sir, Chair of the Governing Board, Professor Gicharu, and Madam Newtu, Chair of Council and members, Your Excellencies, Ambassadors and High Commissioners, Acting Vice Chancellor, Professor Wanderi, the founding Vice Chancellor and his dear wife. I have always known the two of them, but I never thought they were connected until today. My colleague Vice Chancellors from some of the top universities, Kenyatta University, Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, distinguished scholars, faculty, graduates, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Mr. Chancellor, sir, I'm deeply excited to be here this morning on this 17th graduation ceremony, but I would want you to allow me as sitting cabinet secretary to restate two policy directions which are not concerned with universities and which is making me sleepless, with your permission. The first one, and I would like the media to get it very clear. The 2020 school fees guidelines, the government of Kenya, under the leadership of His Excellency Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, continues to provide free day secondary grants per learner for tuition, operations, and infrastructure improvement. Funds are disbursed to schools based on enrollment uploaded by principles of National Education Management Information System, NEMIS. That is the first point. The second point, I urge all college principals and boards of management to ensure that these funds are used for the intended purposes. This will enable us to further the attainment of the presidential legacy of 100% transition, improve learning environment, and ensure the right to education is achieved. Point number 3, I will lead senior ministry officials in a nationwide monitoring exercise to ensure that Form 1 students are joining the schools that they were selected to. So this nonsense of principals saying that government has increased school fees is a figment of the imagination which has emanated from some of the members of the print media. Parents are therefore advised to only pay the amount of fees set by the ministry and to report any incidents otherwise to the concerned authorities. I also want to urge the public that all children, including those who got less than 100 marks, they are very intelligent, because that 100 mark means nothing. There's 100% transition. Every child must have unfettered access and help to join the schools that they have been selected. I thank you very much, Mr. Chancellor. I hope this is now very clear. That's what I meant, and added that because of infrastructure challenges that the government is ably trying to deal with, if boards of management, together with parent teachers associations, agree on a voluntary scheme where they want to improve infrastructure, they should be allowed to do so. And no child, especially the ones that cannot afford, should be asked to contribute. And the keyword here is voluntary. Thank you, Mr. Chancellor. I want to come back to what brought me here today. People are asking why I'm here. We have 79 universities, and I can't possibly go to all of them. So I will go to one private, one public, one private, one public, and we move on. Maybe I'll do about 5 or 6. Congratulations to all you graduates for a job well done. I strongly believe that you have been unskilled, and that the certificates you are going to collect here today are not pieces of paper. And if that is true, then as you get out there tomorrow, grab whichever job that you can get. Are we together? If I'm told to go and drive a tractor, I shall do it very happily, as long as it enables me to look after my dear wife and son and probably the forthcoming grandchild. Are we together? Because that is the problem with you graduates. I'm starting by addressing you directly. Everybody wants to wear a white-collar job. In government today, we are saying fewer people should go to universities. More should go to other tertiary colleges where we unskill them to be able to provide employment for themselves and employ others. But even as a graduate, for example, if you are a lawyer, I can see the School of Law is graduating today. Who says you must go to the law school and become a traditional barrister? That is a bit stale and mundane. If you are a lawyer, all the frontiers are open to you. Pick the one that comes first to you. Are we together? Because you see, don't say, oh, you know, I've been a lawyer for 10 years, and you know there is no employment. Of course, then you must not be very intelligent. Mr. Chancellor, I want to say that I have midwifed this university from its inception. When we gave the letter of interim authority, I was working at the authority that gave it, and all the other processes that took place until it has come to this level. I am also very beholden to the medical school, because while serving as the chair of the Kenya Medical Practitioner and Dentist Board, I once again midwifed the medical school. In fact, I was asking you whether the first group of graduates are here, and you say they'll come next year. I know of your infrastructure, and I'm also happy to see people like Professor Osula, who are veterans in surgery and medical administration, serving in your council. I hope he just doesn't serve in the council. He can do much more than that to you if you allow him. I would like to state that, and I'm going to go into detail, government has 79 universities, more or less 50% private, 50% public. Those are outrageous numbers. But look at this one. Look at, you open your eyes, which God has given you. Look at even this arrangement that we have here. I have followed this university very closely, and it is transformative because we have said, right size your numbers, right size yourself. Start with your own self-audit. While a great majority of public universities are still dancing around cycles, Mount Kenya University has already right-sized from 11 to 4, and nothing stops them from continuing to look at what they are doing, so that you become thin and lean and get things better done. I want to touch on the issue of the government working with private universities. Again, the president in his wisdom in 2016 placed 10,000 students in private schools, and this university got about 1,127. I am told that group is graduating here today. And I would have been very happy to know how many of them dropped out. But since I wasn't told, I'm assuming almost all of them are there. I'm also happy to learn that as we speak now, the total number of government students are 9,004. And the importance of this is that to us, there is no private student and there is no public student. These students are Kenyans, and they must be given equal opportunities. And when they leave here, some will go back and serve in the private sector and the public sector. I also want to mention the idea of a graduate school, the College of Graduate Studies that you have created. And I want to say that it is actually the way to go. But the catch is, because the university is supposed to carry out original research. It is not the volume of research that is important. It is the quality of research. So do not fall into the same trap where top grade and seamless universities in this country have lost direction and are more concerned with the numbers rather than quality. I also want to warn you in public as my friends that they are crooks, they are professional crooks who write theses for masters and PhDs. You must ensure that in order to maintain yourself where you have been, you are not swept away with what is going on in our beloved country now, where you find that a thematic university that was created for a specific purpose has gone astray because it is competing with my own university, which is Kanyanyaini University somewhere near here, and the issue is just numbers. So I'm very glad to hear that you have produced only 10 PhDs. I hope they are quality PhDs, and don't be in a hurry to be saying we have produced 50. Because before you produce 50, you must have the requisite faculty. And for the youngsters who are going to go forth, it is only time that you cannot save. So there is no way a professor like me can be supervising 10, 12 PhDs at the same time. It is called professional armed robbery. Are we together? Because if you are supervising a PhD, you must have time to read and critique and take it back. And I'm telling you this from the front because you are interviewing people with PhDs and you say, okay, what was your topic? And he doesn't remember because an expert wrote it for him. So he has to check the topic from the book. What was the concept? He doesn't remember. So this is the danger. This is the only challenge that as you go into the graduate school area, you must remember. And you can draw blood if necessary. Be very firm in terms of quality control of your PhDs. And Professor Odo, you have done well so far. Because otherwise, going by what other universities are doing, you would have said you have 100 PhDs or even 70 of them today, but you have 10. And congratulations to you. So by Kenyan standards, when I was Vice Chancellor at the University of Nairobi for 10 good years, I visited over 200 universities worldwide, including almost all the South African universities, Ghanaian, European, Australian, American, and what have you. And if one was to ask me about this university, I say this is the way to go. Control the numbers and provide quality service to our people. Now, having said all those good things about this university, I will straight away proceed to speak very frankly about the status of local universities in this country. Before spelling out some of the reforms that our good government plans to pursue to ensure that we have a place in world-class institutions. The reason is this. What is a university? That definition come from a politician? or does it come from a top grade scholar? Because here in our country now, we have basically abandoned the definition of a university to our politicians who very honestly don't know what they are talking about universities. They don't know. And this, with all due respect to our leaders who are here, I'm sure some of them are graduating. And the reason I'm being very shooting straight here, that a university is supposed to, to be an open place where you teach. There's seamless flow of ideas. You teach, so you must have capacity to teach. Where you teach must be available. And you must carry out research also. So if you have a university without a professor, or there are fake professors whom if you put into the Google Scholar, they are not known. They say they have published 100 papers, but nobody has quoted even one sentence from them. This is where we are heading, and it has to stop. And none other than His Excellency the President realized this when I took over and he said, no new universities, make sure you write science and transform those universities, and we are going to do it. So I would like the university fraternity, including my dear friends who are seated here, to listen very carefully. It is glaringly clear that our university sector is faced with a number of quality-related challenges, including high student enrollment, low-quality programs, and inadequate faculty. Some of these challenges frustrated the government's policy direction for reforms in education service delivery as contained in the intended sessional paper of 2012. And I quote, it was titled, Policy Framework for Education and Training, Reforming Education and Training in Kenya. That sessional paper was never to be. We have since come up with a new sessional paper, which was adopted by Parliament in 2019. In the last few years, ladies and gentlemen, the sector has witnessed tremendous growth, demonstrated by the increase in universities from 33 in number in 2012 to the current 79. Despite commendable achievement in access and equity, this expansion has had no impact on relevance, quality, and sustainability of university education, hence calling for deliberate interventions. If unchecked, this expansion can put at risk the quality and employability of our local graduates. We therefore must confront the situation if we are to achieve our mission to address issues of equity, access, quality, relevance, and sustainability. Should we, for example, allow as many universities as possible to be established in the country and allow the market forces to determine them to survive? Because that is what seems to be in the mouths of the politicians. Number two, should we determine the number of universities should we determine the number of universities our country needs to produce high quality graduates in order to effectively serve the country's needs? Number three, can we merge existing universities to have in place solid and well-managed institutions? Can we maintain or freeze accreditation of the new universities and turn the focus onto strengthening the existing ones according to their niche? I want to address the only thing my colleagues picked, because I spoke about this 6 months ago, the only thing they picked was about merger. And some of them even sponsored the union to take me to court. I said, who is talking about merger? We are academics, and we are saying merger is going to happen whether I like it, whether you like it or not. It just depends on when. And the president wants this to be in a seamless manner where it is done by yourselves. When you look at the world, I'm glad there's a South African guru here. Some time back, South Africa had 34 universities, and they were bold enough to right-size them to 26. And the moment they did that, you yourself know what happened. I don't need to tell you. And South Africa, rather than being weaker, is much stronger in academic issues. When we come closer to home, Rwanda, 11 odd universities were right-sized into one large national university with thematic colleges. And it is now performing better than most of our universities. That's why I was congratulating the Chancellor and the Chair that they seem to have picked the message. There is pride in changing, because change is not acceptable. But it is the only constant thing in this world. So in order to survive, we have now agreed with our Vice Chancellors and Q that they will give me their proposal once again, and Q will give me theirs, and I will synthesize and call them together so that we have a solid way forward. If that does not happen, I will be directed as to what to do, and it shall be done. There are key questions that, these are some of the key questions that we need to provide answers to, ladies and gentlemen. The other issue that I want to talk about is the number of academic programs. It is fine to create academic programs, but there should be a goal about creating the academic programs. What has happened in our country is regrettable because it is more of the same thing. But for those who are listening, we are going to ensure that if you are creating a program, or if you have a program, first of all, you must have the faculty that is qualified to teach it. Are we together? If you don't have faculty, that program will be right-sized. If you have faculty, the second thing we shall look for, especially if it is new, is where are you going to teach it? And if you are ready, that is fine. If you are government funded, we shall ask you, how are you going to mount? How are you going to do the teaching? Because every university must survive, isn't it? The other point about this university that I like as a person is that from what I see, it looks like all the profits come back to the university. There are some private universities which should actually survive. But I think when they get the profit, they take them to buy cows or whatever, you can't tell. And coming into our own country, Baraton University was on its deathbed not long ago. They right-sized, and now they are doing better. So the number of academic programs, the Senate, the quality of Senate that you have, there are issues. Yesterday I was being asked in council, why are Senates composed of one tribe? It is not possible to have a Senate of one tribe, where one tribe is 50%. Who has told you that all Kenyans have not gone to school? So if you are stupid, then, and you are an academic, and you are thinking about your tribe, go and join politics, because I don't think you are going to help us in the academic sector. Because in the academic sector, you should first of all look at performance. And when you look at performance, you will get a rainbow straight away. So if you have a good quality Senate that will tell you, no, you can't do this, then you are on the road to making sure that you cannot just bring a program. They'll tell you, no, this one we are not accepting because it doesn't make sense. Because there has been a large increase in programs. Most of them have a few students. So the programs should be linked, if you want to help us in government, the program should be linked to what the government wants done. For example, I was glad when I was being told this morning that you have taken animal studies and agriculture to Nakuru. That is fine. We would want to see the impact. as you are putting money there, are you creating people who can go and give us agricultural and veterinary extensions for a fee that is paid to them? Then there would be a good link between this university and what the president wants. Of course, you have produced nurses that are providing important service, which is also in tandem with what the government wants. But I'm not saying you should not start a new program, but first of all, ask yourself, why should you have a Bachelor of Science in Air Conditioning? Honestly. Because that is a course that can be done in a technical institute, and you go and earn your money quicker. Now you have that course and you don't even have a lab to teach them. So he comes out with a BSc air conditioning. If he gets a job, he looks for a technician who can go and repair. Is that not stupid? You correct me. Now, this one, my brother, Professor Wainaina, my sister Ngumi, and all the others, including Dr. Gicharu himself, 47 million, majority are below 30. How many universities do we require? And some will argue that we require one in every county. But the Constitution does not say you require one in every county yesterday. It is something that we can reach in 50 years. By the time our economy is big enough. Are we together? So the issue of numbers of universities, like now, I was very happy when the president, the first thing he told me is, no new university. And since I take orders like a soldier, if you want me to give you a new university, you go and tell my commander to tell me so. Otherwise, every other person, I don't listen to. He made my work easier. Do you get the point? He thinks we are moving very slowly with the reforms, but I think I've assured him that we are just on course. So like I told you, there has been the issue of academic staffing in public universities. And this will make it easier for us to tell you, can you talk to this one and be a campus or a college of that one? Because you can't cheat. We are going to audit. A total number of academic staff in universities in 2016 was 18,000. Of these 18,000, 13,200 were employed in public universities and 4,700 in private universities. Of these, only 1,689 were at the level of professor and 2,200 at the level of associate professor. That's 9% and 12%. Now, even somebody who didn't go to university, even if you take some of those very intelligent children who have just passed and you ask them, could these people be the top managers of about 700,000 university students? And they'll tell you, no, the numbers look small. These numbers are far below the recommended numbers of academic staff required for the number of students enrolled in the universities. With an average academic staff student ratio of 1 to 39, we are definitely below the recommended ratio. Clearly, therefore, this rapid expansion, we are saying that we should be able to control the expansion. And the best person to control it is the owner, who is the Vice Chancellor. So the next question we are asking ourselves is, are we getting, with this large number, are we now getting Vice Chancellors of Professor Wahudo's caliber? Because being a professor does not make you, being a leader, you would also have to be born with a little bit of it, not just training. So with this rapid expansion and turnover, are we getting the right university managers? That's something that we have to discuss. Issues that we remember as I conclude quickly we know that there is inadequate physical facilities. This is the wrongest example of that one. Inadequate academic staff, inadequate funding for public universities in particular, with some private, where a university must be a going concern. And the onus is with the managers. That's why I'm saying, are we getting the right managers for the universities? Because, for example, when I was a manager at my own university, I said, I declared that we shall run the university with 80% of the budget. And that became a law, and everybody complied. So we cut down and ran the university that way. And paying of salaries, I had 3 months in front, so all the gymnastics was behind in the 4th month. So staff were very comfortable. So do we have the right people, or is it time that when we get somebody as a vice chancellor, we go and train the person first? I was lucky enough to be trained for my 2nd tenure, but the first one, I was not trained. So clearly, many public universities have disproportionate numbers. If you were to ask any professor anywhere in the world, he'll tell you the university is defined by the professor. And a professor has no retirement age. The retirement age is when he doesn't become seamless, he stops thinking. Because I was in Harvard recently when we were being trained to be ministers. I don't know how they were training us to be ministers, but the oldest person there was well over 80 years, and he was able to mark our staff overnight. We were about 40-something, and comment in each of them. So it is only a university which has a poor leader that says, well, if you have a professor, let me say like Professor Mwabu, who is a top grade health economist, perhaps the only top grade one in the country, and he reaches 70 years. Then you say, you see, according to the rule, you must go. That person should be nowhere near the Vice Chancellor's office. Because that Mwabu, you will find he is bringing money for you, he's training top grade people for you, he's putting your name in the international web so that your university goes up. So the university leaders must know that if they have to retire people, first of all, I think the best university has just about 40%, 42% academic staff. The worst one has 12%. So you have 12% and all these others are non-academic. What the hell do you think you are doing there? Is that a village polytechnic or a university? So as we move forward in this direction, all universities must right size towards the correct ratio of 70% academic staff and 30% support staff. For example, if I'm a professor and a chairman of a department, do I need a tea person in the office today? Do I need somebody to come and make tea for me? I think I must be very stupid, because if you go abroad, you find there's a kettle there, there's a place you are washing your cup, and all you should be asking for is the supplies which will be brought from yourself. You can make your coffee anytime you want. If your colleagues come, you tell them there's coffee, there's tea, which one? Can you fix yourself a cup of coffee there? That's where we must go. Not having 5 people in the office, you are one chairman, there's a cleaner, there's another one who is dusting the windows, there's another one who is collecting the trash, and then you can't pay their salaries on time. Now, is that a manager or not? And that's precisely what we have. So we have to cut down on the luxuries that we have as university managers and be able to. It's not just about mergers. I had a raft of things that should be done here, but I'm not going to go through them, because as I've said, I've spoken to the chairman of the Vice Chancellor's Committee, and I will also speak to the head of the Private Universities Committee so that the same rule applies. As we right size, if we find a new university that is very well anchored and ready to go up, we shall move that one up. but we must really right size. Because you should ask yourself, for example, if you take education, 58 universities are teaching education, and the faculty is less than 20%. Yet the citadel of education is Kenyatta University. I don't know what percentage of education is now in that university. That's what the university is known for. Why has everybody got into education without faculty? So these are the issues that come the new year, we shall bite. We shall not allow people outside government and universities to come and tell us what to do. Otherwise, later on, they'll say, well, when you were here, then things were not done properly. I would like to end by encouraging those universities. Among the public side, you have Dedan Kimathi University of Agriculture and Technology, which is a very fine university with a very fine leader. That leader was brewed in Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, the leader who is now there. But sometimes they say, if you are not careful, your child will do better than you, isn't it? For example, why the hell do you want to have 5 deputy vice chancellors? Are you in London? Why don't you do with 1 or 2? And each of them has a stream of expenses. Why would you want to create executive deans when you can have deans, a few deans? So the VCs have so much to do, and my parting shot is this, don't waste your time, because for me, I have no government. I'm serving the government of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, and if you see me backing, ask yourself, who do you think is backing? Do you get the point? So don't even waste your time trying to go and see him, because he's the one who is giving me the instructions. Or do you want him to give me the instructions in your presence? So I hope that by the next 2.5 years, when I leave, Mr. Chancellor, that this university will have even trimmed itself better to be the example in the private sector, as I challenge my 2 top-grade universities, Kenyatta and Jomo Kenyatta, to take cue and shine. I went to Oxford at one time. Does anybody know how many colleges are in Oxford? Does anybody know? Even the new vice chancellor, you should know, because there are 38 colleges and 1 university. Do you get the point? You go to Harvard, you will see the same arrangement. So we don't want to reinvent the wheel. I am sure our universities can survive, but not in the present trajectory where now, you have heard the politicians saying, oh, the president ordered for this one. You have 4 universities within 40 kilometers, and you want a 5th one. Do you think those people understand what a university means? It's like you treat a university like an employment agency. So I want us to work together, and the first step is with the managers, together with Q. If that one fails, then the government of the Republic of Kenya, headed by Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, will give us direction, and we shall implement. I want to thank you very much for the opportunity, and I'm very glad to have been here. I don't know the uptenth time, because this is like I'm happy because I've seen this come from the ground, and seeing that perhaps in the private sector, you can also invest and compete and even bypass some government institutions. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We can appreciate our chief guests, the MKUA, measure for him, measure MKUA. Our chief guest, we are measuring for you. Measure well. This is how much we love you as Mount Kenya University family. Promote. Thank you so much. Mr. Chancellor Sam, in line with promoting our young talents and in line with promoting the young ones to be role models in the society through academia, world, and talent, it is my honor and privilege to invite one of our mentees under TV 47, Chipukizi. Come and say a word. Let's appreciate him as he comes to the stage.
Itakuwaje? Siwasikii itakuwaje? Kama unanisikia nionyeshe mkono moja tu hivi juu. Mkono juu. Ukiona umekaa kando ya mtu na hajaweka mkono juu juu, jasho, jua imeanza kuharibu. Jipigieni makofi sana kwa kukuja leo, kwa kugraduate. Congratulations. I just want to say this because we don't have time, guys. I want to use myself as an example of Mungu yuko. Huyu ni Mukamba, alitoka Ukambani huko ndani kadi kabisa. With basic education. Nikakuja hapa Nairobi. Nika struggle. Mpaka ya top senior government official. Bwana asifiwe. Nasikia watu wakiuliza, huyu mtu aliappointiwa aje na president? Iliappointiwa kwa sababu ya bidii yangu bwana. So I want to encourage you guys. We are the future of this nation. We are responsible kujipanga wase. Yani wacheni niwaambie, the people who are in government right now, the people who are looting, the policemen who are allowing young people to smoke bangi, the chief that is allowing people kukunywa chang'aa, he was once a graduate kama tu sisi. Kwa hivyo sisi tukiingia wase, tujitoe tu, tushikane, tusapotiane. Yani kama wewe ni IT, umetengeneza Hapnoma, ama wewe ni lawyer na ujui vile uta-advertise law firm yako, tusaidiane, tafuta Vixen, yani tupatne, tuende pamoja, tusonge mbele. Ndio maana mimi siku hizi sitembei peke yangu, natembea na my learned friend Bwana Katelo. Wapi makofi ya Katelo? Karibu sana Bwana Katelo, wasalimie. This is the latest, this is the youngest comedian in Kenya and he is the future of stand-up comedy. Salimia watu mheshimiwa.
Oya. Mimi unaweza niita Katelo ama unaweza niita kwako Mbogi ni Kimonyoski tilafu sako ina the area representing na kuna nikijidai ujue nimejikopa. Yeah man, big up yourself, congratulations manze kwa kugraduate.
Waziri hawa ni wale waliacha bangi tukaingiza kwenye kazi sasa. Sasa ni watu wazuri kabisa. Asanteni sana, Mungu awabariki, and let me leave you with this one. When I was a young boy one day, my mom wanted to encourage me to study, and my dad. So my dad started the conversation and told me, my son, mimi nataka usome sana. Nataka usome, uvite, upate ndikli. Na ukimaliza kupata ndikli, tafuta pesa. Ukipata pesa, tafuta mwanamke mzuri ambaye ako na akili. Uoe. Sasa hiyo mamangu ako hapo kando. Pia yeye akaingilia hiyo story akaniambia, it is true my son. Soma, vita mtihani, pata pesa. Hapo kwa pesa. Usifanye msichana wa watu wafanye zile mistakes nilifanya. Asanteni sana. God bless you and congratulations.
Thank you so much. We can appreciate him better. You can watch him live in TV 47. Over to you, Missy. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite the Chancellor of Mount Kenya University, Professor John Struthers, to address the congregation.
Chief guest, Professor George Magoha, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Education, MKU founder and chairman of the Board of Directors, Professor Simon N. Gicharo, and in absentia, his lovely wife in New York, Madame Jane Nituye, co-founder of Mount Kenya University. Members of the MKU Board of Directors, Chairman of the University Council, Professor David Saram, members of the University Council, Professor Stanley Waldo, Founding Vice-Chancellor, Professor Peter Wanderi, Acting Vice-Chancellor, members of the University Management Board and Senate, Mount Kenya University staff, parents and guardians, distinguished invited guests, graduates and students, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Karibu sana. Good morning. Ojambo. Habari yako. We call this ground Happy Valley Ground. And it's a happy day today, is it not? Yes? It's a happy day for you. And even the sun is shining after the heavy rain of the last few days. So I want to just make a few remarks, brief remarks about the wonderful progress that this university has undertaken in the last few months, in the last year. But before doing so, I want to begin by passing the warm greetings, both from my family and my home university, the University of the West of Scotland. And that whole university passes its greetings to you. I have come from a temperature of -7 degrees, very cold, freezing. So I'm very happy to be here in the sunshine of Tika. And it's with much gratitude that I join other eminent speakers in welcoming our distinguished guests to this, the 17th graduation ceremony of Mount Kenya University. And I salute you for honoring our invitation. I became the Chancellor last year, and this is the 4th ceremony that I've presided over. And I must say with all humility, this is the highlight of my year, coming twice a year to this graduation and seeing all these graduates as we see them today, more than 5,000. So I take this opportunity to congratulate all of you for attaining your various academic qualifications. Today, of course, is the culmination of several years of hard work and diligence. On behalf of the whole Mount Kenya fraternity, indeed I should say the Mount Kenya family, I wish you much success in your future endeavors. And as you celebrate today and the days ahead for your well-deserved achievements, remember the friends and families and communities who have supported you in this academic journey and remain their hope and inspiration. So to our graduates, please remember the many resources that have been spent on you. It is the hope of your communities, and indeed the world, that you should apply the empowerment acquired to solving the many complex social and economic problems that we see around the world. You have a leading part to play in that, as our previous speaker said, the Cabinet Secretary. And today you become a key resource and an input for your country's development. I wish to remind you that Africa is increasingly growing in the percentage of university education graduates. And even then, with this growth in the number of graduates, there is still an unmet demand. There is still an unmet demand of people who wish to study at university. But of course, as the Cabinet Secretary has said, this must be in institutions that maintain high quality standards. And at Mount Kenya University, this is what we do. And of course, higher number of graduates also increases competition in the job market. And you're about to face that competition. And it is your responsibility to continue to sharpen your competencies and seek value addition to have that market advantage. I often use the analogy of athletics. Education is a marathon, not a sprint. Be like Mr. Chipoke, the man who won recently in Switzerland, rather than a Usain Bolt. The dedication of the Kenyan athlete is just remarkable. So similarly, embrace entrepreneurial opportunities that will allow you to blossom wherever you shall be. Now, it would not be appropriate if I didn't try to improve on my Swahili. I've been trying to improve my Swahili over the last few years, and it's difficult for me because I don't visit every week to this country. I wish I could. But I'm going to try and express a phrase which I think sums up the challenge that you face as you go from here today. And the Swahili proverb that I found, which I think is appropriate for you, is, and forgive me for my pronunciation, I'm just a student of Swahili, and the phrase is this: Mitaka yote hukosa yote. And I think that means that he who wants all will lose everything. And don't be greedy. Don't jump from one goal to another, but be focused, and you will succeed. And that is a very good proverb for you to think about. But I also want to send you a message from my wife. She sent me this biblical text that she asked me to read. And if I don't read it, when I go back to Scotland, I will have problems. So I'm going to read it. And it's from the book of Joshua, chapter 1 and verse 9. And I think this is appropriate to you. Listen to these words. I command you, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. And that's the message I want to give to you today, to the graduates. Coming to the theme of this particular graduation, which is the development of partnerships. And we've already heard from the previous speakers about some of these partnerships. I just want to expand on that just a little bit. This is a big part of MKU's dynamic strategy for the future, to fully engage with various stakeholders and communities. And I'm going to just tell you some of the examples of this from the last year. For example, the MKU Directorate of Research and Innovation, in collaboration with an organization called Partners in Care, or Partners for Care, conducted research on psychosocial and economic impact of mobility carts. And as a result of that, the Partners for Care has donated 5 mobility carts that MKU shall be donating to 5 people living with disability in and around us. These and many other examples are excellent examples for you. Then we have a new partnership between MKU and a UK university, Manchester Metropolitan University. And this was signed in September this year. This will allow for exchange of students at all levels of training, joint community outreach activities, consultancies and staff exchanges, capacity building, joint research and publications amongst the staff. There's also a collaboration between MKU and the Ministry of Health in PhD training, and a PhD student has been sponsored to undertake a PhD course in nursing at MKU, and this is a big thing because there's a dire need in the country for qualified and competent health workers. And I take this opportunity to sincerely thank the Ministry of Health for believing in our goal of capacity building. And a similar partnership has been developed with the Health Management System Association, HESMA, in the training of health systems management to bachelor's and master's students. And this will supplement the university teaching by adding value by use of relevant technologies in health systems. So these are just some examples. And then if we go abroad, for example, to Europe, there is a new Mentor Talent Hub Memorandum of Understanding has been signed with the University of Regensburg in Germany. And again, this was signed in September this year, and will have a significant element of mentorship programs in science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and medicine. And this will also lead to joint research, because as our previous speaker said, as a university becomes older and more mature, it is important to develop the research profile and reputation of our university. So I express on behalf of MKU our gratitude, particularly to that German university for this collaboration. And then within Africa, an organization entitled Virtualize Africa Partnership has opened an avenue for MKU to benefit from free training of trainers in technical and academic staff across 5 phases as part of the standard curriculum, and this will be an accredited arrangement. And within the medical field, of course, there is a partnership with the Aga Khan Hospital Collaboration, and this is, of course, of particular relevance to our School of Medical students, some of whom are here today. And then, of course, somebody has, I think the chairman already mentioned this wonderful opportunity that MKU has opened up with the United Nations in the UN Volunteers Partnership Scheme. I tweet quite often, and I noticed that this was mentioned on Twitter, and I retweeted And the chairman replied to my tweet, so we tweet each other all the time. And I said, this is a wonderful achievement by this university to establish a relationship with the United Nations and to provide opportunities for students in terms of mentorship and traineeships with the United Nations across different departments of that organization. And of course, it would be amiss of me if I did not mention the partnership with my own university, the University of the West of Scotland, where I come from. And there are some examples of this. We've been developing joint research bids. We had 3 members of MKU staff at the conference that I organize every year in Scotland for my Centre of African Research on Enterprise and Economic Development. Yes, we have such a centre in Scotland that looks at economic problems and economic challenges in Africa. And we had 3 members of staff from this university attend our conference in August. And we're looking at, as we speak, developing some publications, including a book from that conference. And we heartily welcome, we will welcome some delegates at next year's conference. And some of my own colleagues in the centre have recently visited MKU at the Mombasa campus as part of a British Council grant for training researchers and practitioners in the area of cultural heritage and promotion and the impact of that on the economy here in Kenya. So these few examples indicate to us all here today that MKU is a forward-looking institution. It's a forward-looking and dynamic institution. The very fact that we are able to develop these partnerships is testimony to that. So in conclusion, I would just also like to add that because of these achievements, the university has achieved a high position in the ranking system, in the Kenyan university ranking systems, recently placed MQ among the top 3 best private universities and in the top 6 among all the Kenyan universities. And this ranking is a declaration to the world that we have achieved excellence in training, research, innovation, and capacity. And as the chairman said earlier, the development of these centers of excellence will pool resources in an efficient way to continue this process, not just for Kenya, but for the world in general. And so, as I've now learned to say at the end of a speech in Kenya, with these few words, with these few words, spoken rather quickly, I wish to congratulate you again and wish you all success in your life and your accomplishments. We are getting close to Christmas and New Year, so I'll follow the tradition of the earlier speakers and wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and Happy 2020. But I would also like to finish by saying, and this again I will revert back to my very elementary Swahili, Mungu aku barika. God bless you. God bless Mount Kenya University. And God bless the beloved Kenya. Bwana asifiwe. Asante sana. Now, I haven't quite finished because before I leave the podium, I've been instructed by my colleagues here to make this announcement. And this is related to what was mentioned earlier, that the university has established the Mount Kenya University Foundation. And there is an endowment fund which we've started already. And this is intended to support needy students. The fund actually has a target of raising 100 million shillings in 2 years. And I'm pleased to announce that I have personally supported this fund with a commitment of £10,000, which is approximately 1.25 million shillings, and this will be used by the university for needy students. It will be called the Chancellor's Scholarship Fund, and it's with great honour and much humility that I invite the Vice-Chancellor to officially receive this large cheque from Miss Mount Kenya University and Mr. Mount Kenya University. And please hand that to me.
Let's appreciate them, let's appreciate them, let's appreciate them. Let's appreciate them in a better hand clap. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We really appreciate. Thank you so much on behalf of Mount Kenya University family and Mount Kenya University Foundation. We appreciate and we say thank you so much. Mr. Chancellor, sir, it is my honor to invite the Dean School of Business and Economics to present the best male and female graduates for recognition.
Chancellor, sir, I have the honor to present to you Madam Ivy Kerubo Mayaka and Mr. Khalid Hamid Mohammed, graduates who attained the highest cumulative average score among the female and male graduates in the 17th graduation ceremony for recognition. The graduates were undertaking Bachelor of Arts in Mass Media and Communication and Bachelor of Science in Nutrition and Dietetics, respectively. With your permission, sir, I now request the awardees to walk to the dais ready to receive their recognition awards.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's appreciate them as they walk back to their seats. Mr. Chancellor, sir, I have the honor to invite the Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of academics to call the best government-sponsored graduates for recognition.
Mr. Chancellor, sir, I have the honor to present to you Madam Justa Kinya and Mr. Wahu Francis Omusula, the best graduate in the first cohort of government-sponsored students to ever graduate from a private university for recognition. The graduates were undertaking Bachelor of Science in Food Science and Processing and Bachelor of Education Arts, respectively. With your permission, sir, I now request the awardee to walk to the dais to receive their recognition.
Mr. Chancellor, sir, I have the honor of inviting the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and Research Affairs, Dr. Bibian Waiganjo Aidi, to call upon the deans of schools to present the respective candidates for the conferment of degrees and award of diplomas and certificates of Mount Kenya University.
Mr. Chancellor, sir, allow me to invite the deans of schools to present the candidates who have certified Mount Kenya University Board of Examiner for conferment of degree, awards of diploma and certificate in the following order. For PhD, we will have the Dean School of Nursing, followed by Dean School of Social Sciences and Dean School of Education. For Masters, we'll have the Dean School of Clinical Medicine, Dean School of Public Health, Dean School of Nursing, Dean School of Pure and Applied Sciences, Dean School of Computing and Informatics, Dean School of Social Sciences, Dean School of Business and Economics, and Dean School of Education. We'll then have the postgraduate diploma from the School of Social Sciences and from School of Education. For certificates, we'll have the Dean School of Law, Dean School of Pharmacy, Dean School of Clinical Medicine, Dean School of Nursing, Dean School of Public Health, Dean Medical School, Dean School of Engineering, Energy and the Built Environment, Dean School of Pure and Applied Sciences, Dean School of Computing and Informatics, Dean School of Social Sciences, Dean School of Hospitality, Travel and Tourism Management, Dean School of Business and Economics, Dean School of Education. As I call the Dean School of Nursing, Mr. Chancellor, I want to assure you that the 10 PhD graduates that are graduating today, they have met the highest standard as guided by the Commission for University Education, and we want to assure you that these graduates have gone through the rigorous exercise of qualifying, and we are sure they meet all the standards. Dean School of Nursing.
Mr. Chancellor, sir, I have the honor of presenting to you Madam Fatuma Eden Afe, listed on page 17 of the graduation booklet, who has satisfied the University Board of Examiners for conferment of Doctor of Philosophy in Nursing, Oncology and Palliative Care from the School of Nursing. This title is Development of a Model of Nursing Care for Cancer Pain Management among Adult Patients at Garissa County Referral Hospital, Kenya. With your permission, sir, I call upon the candidate to start and be escorted to the dais by her supervisors for crowning and conferment of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Nursing, Oncology and Palliative Care of Mount Kenya University.
In accordance with the provisions of the Mount Kenya University Charter 2011, Part 2, Section 6, Subsection B, and you having fulfilled all the necessary academic requirements, I do hereby admit you to the Doctor of Philosophy in Nursing, Oncology and Palliative Care in the School of Nursing, and by my authority and that of the entire university, give you the power to read and to do all that appertain to the degree. Congratulations.
Mr. Chancellor, sir, I have the honor of presenting to you 2 PhD candidates who have satisfied the University Board of Examiners for the conferment of Doctor of Philosophy in Law Enforcement and Justice Administration and Doctor of Philosophy in Religious Studies, respectively, from the School of Social Sciences. With your permission, sir, I call upon the candidates to stand and be escorted to the dais by their supervisors for crowning and conferment of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy of Mount Kenya University. Mr. John Gachinya, his title is The Socio-Economic Determinants of Human Trafficking in Kigali, Rwanda.
In accordance with the provisions of the Mount Kenya University Charter 2011, Part 2, Section 6, Subsection B, and you having fulfilled all the necessary academic requirements, I do hereby admit you to the Doctor of Philosophy in Law Enforcement and Justice Administration and Doctor of Philosophy in Religious Studies, respectively, in the School of Social Sciences, and by my authority and that of the entire university, give you the power to read and to do all that appertain to the degree. Congratulations.
Father Raphael Mwangi Wanjau, his thesis title is An Investigation of the Influence of Christian Religious Education on Students' Ethical Formation in Secondary Schools in Thika West Sub-County, Kenya.
Mr. Chancellor, sir, I have the honor of presenting to you 7 PhD candidates who have satisfied the University Board of Examiners for the conferment of Doctor of Philosophy in Educational Psychology and Doctor of Philosophy in Educational Management, Administration and Leadership, respectively, from the School of Education. With your permission, sir, I call upon the candidates to start and be escorted to the dais by their supervisors for crowning and conferment of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy of Mount Kenya University. The candidates' names are as follows. The first one, Madam Marusi Bernadette Mwikali. Her thesis title is Hardness in Manipulating Instructional Resources on Students' Achievement in Chemistry in Selected Secondary Schools in Kenya. The second one is Mr. Moses Munyao Kemanthi. His thesis title is School Safety Standards and Guidelines Implementation on Security Management in Public Boarding Secondary Schools in Kitui County, Kenya. The third one, Margaret Nyabura Wagidono. Her thesis title is Institutional Resource Management on Academic Performance of Trainees in Public Teacher Training Colleges in Kenya. The fourth one, Mr. Abdul Kadil Eden Ario. His thesis title is Budgetary Practices on Financial Management in Public Secondary Schools in Madera County, Kenya. The fifth one is Mr. John Ngeda Prudul. His thesis title is Traditional Cultural Dynamics on Institutional Leadership in Public Secondary Schools in Kajiado County, Kenya. The sixth one, Mr. Emmanuel Lokicha Kariakamul. His thesis title is Insecurity Dynamics on Educational Management in Public Primary Schools in West Pokot County, Kenya. And the last one, Madam Lea Mudhoni Jiro. Her thesis title is Information Literacy Practices on Management of Scholarly Information among Postgraduate Students in Kiambu County, Kenya.
In accordance with the provisions of the Mount Kenya University Charter, 2011, Part 2, Section 6, Subsection B, and you having fulfilled all the necessary academic requirements, I do hereby admit you to the Doctor of Philosophy in Educational Psychology and Doctor of Philosophy in Educational Management, Administration and Leadership, respectively in the School of Education, and by my authority and that of the entire university, give you the power to read and to do all that appertain to the degree. Congratulations.